Right, I'm going to do another cover today, and I'm going to use Amazon packaging. I've already pre-cut it, and I'll give myself just 3/4 of an inch spine. Okay, I've just sewed that part, just the front or the back, I'm not sure yet. I think actually that is going to be, I'm going to cover this anyway with some wallpaper. So this is my image, not sure if I'm going to use that, but that's the image I want to use. Okay, and I've just mounted it onto card, but I will be scuffing that up and of course stitching around that, but that's later. But that's my intention of using that. I've got some not quite nice, I'm doing like a tone on tone one because I thought that such a nice colour in there. I thought I would use that. But this is almost a grey colour, but it's quite a textured piece of, wow, it's sort of texture and almost a little velvety. And I thought that would go nice with tone on tone. Yeah, it's about, you most probably not going to see any of this. Okay. But I'm going to use it. Is that? Okay. Let's have a look. I want it that way. So it is upside down. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to stick that on. Yeah, I use this one. So I've got some Fabri-Tac over there for when I use some fabric. I'm going to use, I've got it here. I've got some ruffles. I've got this sort of stuff that looks really cool because it, when I went to rip it, this happened and I really like that. I've got some like coffee filters here. I've got some like net stuff. That was the top of the net. So I just took the seams off and stitched down that. It didn't, machine didn't like it, but all I done was, instead of using like tear away, I just used a piece of coffee stain paper and then I tore it away after. All right, and I've got some of this and see what happens. And I've got a bit of that again, that was from ripping it and that happened, and I thought, do you know what, I really like that, but whether I use it, I don't know. So yeah, it's all sort of, you know, this is an old net curtain, so it's quite sort of dingy looking, it's not white at all, so I thought that looked quite nice. And with that, yes, I'm happy, and I think that all tones in look as well. Okay, right, so I can get out the way for a minute. Okay, and put glue on this side. Just thinking which way it's going to bend. It doesn't really matter which way it bends. These packaging's quite good. Yeah. Oh, and the size, I've done 9, I think, by 4 1/4, something like that. By 4, actually. Yeah, 4 1/4. That's slightly shorter. So it's from there. 4 1/8. So, gonna have to watch that. I'm gonna have to take a slither off that, you know. I am. I scored it and cut it, but it might have been that I actually went one side of the score line. Yeah, I did, look. That's where it is. So I'll just trim that off. You can see the score line now. Oh, not going to fit in there. I have to go and do it with my other machine. Yeah, so it was just the width of the score line out. So that's all right. So it's 4 1/8. What, I chose that size? No idea why. I did. Cut that. I think it's to do with where these were in the packaging, as that sort of thing. This is 3-in-1 by Beacon, and I do mix it with the coal hole, is it? I'll show you that in a minute. Instead of using acetone, I mix it with that one, because this is slightly runnier. Okay, so that mix with the 3-in-1, when that starts to go a little bit, you know, firmer, then that saves me using acetone and getting it too runny. So it seems to be working for me. Not fantastic for fabric, I will say, but it's okay. Right, so I am gonna, I don't care what that is really. Let's go over there, just leave enough. There we go. If it's quite thick, the card, you can always just sort of fold it over, give it a helping hand before you do it, yeah? Okay. Yeah, it does look nice, doesn't it? It's a bit French, doesn't it? I'm not saying I'm doing a French journal, but I think she's lending herself to looking quite French, actually. Okay. I know it's not dry, but I'm going to sort of work out what I'm doing, to be honest. You're not going to see any of this cover, actually, on the front. Right. So I'll leave that alone for a minute and work out what I'm doing here. So what I might do, I'm most probably going to stitch a lot of mine on because I can, you know, I'll cover this. So you won't even see it. And I'll cover that with slightly, because I've only got one layer here, but that does give quite a substantial cover. But I might, sometimes I do a thicker card or thicker scrapbook paper, you know, on there, and then that would be fine. All right, let's have a look. Okay. Right, so it's got to be something like this on the back. I don't really need to go, say, because I've got that there. Actually, that looks quite nice. I don't know what you're going to see. Right, okay. Let's get these out of the way. I haven't got much room here at all. I just finished quite a big project, so, and I can't really say much about it because I have to wait. I'm quite liking that, actually. So let's say this, all this is net curtain. Yeah, let's roughly cut that out and then less to work with. Right, so what I'm going to do with that is just stick it a little bit in place. All right. And it's quite nice to have that at the back. So, yep. Right, so I think I sorted out what I'm going to do. Yeah, we just had no electric on and off for about 10 minutes then. So I was just messing around with everything. And hopefully it stays on now. So whilst it will be all in darkness. Well, it's not dark, but you know what I mean. But I think I've decided what to do. I've cut this down. I'm going to put that there. I do want that colour there because of incorporating this. I think there's just a bit of balance that way. Yeah, I'm going to have like a bit of a, just like the outside of the doily, is it there? Sort of, I'm not sure how yet. Might that underneath like that, and then this will come down here like that. Then I'm going to have something elaborate down the bottom, but what I'm going to first do is make sure, right, that is central there, and I'll stick these two together. Do you see what I mean? So I know it's got to go just under that line, so I'll stick these together. And I could stick the middle of that down. I will be sewing around mine, but and I have that there, I think. Now I'm okay. So I can tuck everything underneath that I need to. Okay, now when this is dry, I can stitch this on. Okay, and that'll secure everything in place there, because whatever I do now will be on top. Okay, right, so next thing I'm going to do is this. It's going to be a topper. Okay, but what I'm going, this is the right width. I'm just using this bit of paper as a guide. All right, as I checked it fits in there. Okay, so I don't want it too much wider than that, so I'm going to put everything on this before I place it on here. Yeah, I know, I'll just show you what I mean. So right there, because I need to sew this, because I need to squish it all down. So I might have too much there. So once that's stitched, I know it's got to go on that bit of paper. Yeah, this I want all raggedy, so that's all right. So I'll do that. Then I want some lace to hang down. So this was quite wide, so again I chopped it down because I don't want too much at the top there. All right, because this is going to go over the top as well, and this isn't thin, so it's going to go sort of like that. Okay, I will do that and cut that off maybe. So that's going to cover that edge there. Actually, I want to come down a bit more. That nice. Right. The first thing I'm going to do is stitch this. I'm just going to cut that off a minute. Okay, so stitch that on there. Okay, and we can always trim it a little bit off after, but that is going to go sort of there. And this was a bit tall, so I just stitched again and then cut the bit off the top. All right, because it was a bit long. Because I'm going to have that there. I will stitch that down once. We have this on. Okay, so that's all stitched together. Right, I'm not sure about that. Let's have a look. Yep. I put my glue gun on. I'll make sure it's turned on a minute. Okay. I would like to do one lot of stitching actually across the board. Just to make sure that's well anchored down, and the rest can be glued on. I think if I do that there, I've still got enough room to tuck, because what I want to do is have a bit of this sort of poking out really. The only thin like copy of paper that's been tea stained. It doesn't have to be tea stained even really. Okay, the stitching actually flattens everything. Okay, because it's quite puffy until you do that. But here I will glue down these layers a little bit. All right. Yeah, sometimes. Quite like that, but I'm not sure yet. Oh yeah, I think I will do that there. I can put maybe a flower, because I've got some flowers and things. Okay. Yeah. See if I got a flower for up there. They might all be too big. I'm not sure. It's just... Gosh, I haven't used these flowers for ages. A few years ago now, doing them, making them, I went mad on them. I only want a small one. Quite like these sort of like, that's too big. Flat roses that, see it's, there's a little bit of pink in that one. Do Do you know what? I'm not. It's miles too big. No, not working for me, folks. Okay, I come up with something. I squished some of this to make it look round, and just put a little bit of this stuff here. Oh gosh, I've hardly got any of this left. Can't even remember, but it's like really fine sort of lace. Looks like it's machine done, but they are lovely for working with. And I put a little bit down there as well, and then I put a squished, yeah, so a bit behind it, squished a bit of that, put a bit more of that, and then put a little gem stone there. And I thought that could go there. And then I had some really small ones of the filigree ones, but haven't got any. So what I will do is I'll cut this brad off here, okay, and glue it down. And that can go there, I reckon. That will look nice, and that will finish that off then. Until I might find something to go along here later on when I've done the journal, say. You know, just depends how the journal speaks to me. Then it might be a word or something. Right, what am I doing? Oh, yeah. Sorry. I went off track there. Let's put him there. Just want to actually have that coming down there. Yeah, and that's lovely and flat. All the rest were all too big and overpowering. Nice and squished. Perfect. Right, let's cut this off. I use my old Tim Holtz scissors for this. It's only thin metal anyway. And then, actually, hot glue don't usually stick metal. I'm going to use Fabri-Tac on that. It does for a bit, but for some reason, I think because if it's, actually it's not that cold. If it's really cold metal, the glue won't stick to it. That's what I've noticed anyway. I have buttons, but I'm not sure about the buttons. So because I'm not sure, I'm leaving them off. I'm just not sure yet, because I might want something else there. So I'll just keep them there. Right, it's going to trim now. Trim off. And then raggedy this a bit more. Let's have a look. This was like what do you call them? Voile curtains. And I just keep doing this until I like it, and then any really long bits I trim off. Okay. And then I think I'm just going to pop a bit of glue under there. It's telling me it needs to be stuck down. Right, so here's another cover done. Okay, there we go. So, very easy. Yeah. And like I said, in there, once I know what the journal does, then I'll cover the inside of that. Okay. Well, I hope you like that. It's another journal cover done, so getting a little bit of a collection now. Okay, thanks for watching then. Bye.